Choose life that you might live, the life that He gives you forever. Choose life the way that is true, from the one who chose you, your Father in heaven. Choose life.
I was born in Porterville, California. My dad was Venancio, Venancio Jimenez, and I was Venancio, also Jimenez Jr. And I never knew I was Venancio until I went to the Air Force and my birth certificate, Venancio, you know. But they always call me Little Benny and call me Dad Big Benny. And I grew up, I don't know whether, I have to put Catholicism was a big part of my life, like a lot of Hispanics, Mexicans, or whatever. And we got it through my mother's side, religion, because on my dad's side, his father and mother didn't go to church. But I saw more of Jesus on my grandma on my father's side. If somebody gets sick, she would, in the neighborhood, make some soup or take it over there. She would show that love of God in different ways, not only in cooking, but visiting people when they were in the hospital. And I saw that, I love throughout my life. And my grandpa was more of a macho, you could say self-sufficient, because he planted fruit trees, he had a vegetable garden, he had pigs, and he had donkey or mule, I don't know what it was. Growing up little, he had, I don't know what you call those things, he put it on the horse or donkey and then he would get his, I don't know what you call that, plow.
Yoke.
Yeah. And anyway, he planted corn, and it was beautiful, but he never taught me anything, like in the old days, hey, get out, go play, And then my dad was the same, because my dad didn't help. He said, Dad, play catch with me, get over here. And, Dad, show me how to pitch. Never came to pass, because he became an alcoholic. I asked him, well, what, come you start drinking? Well, I loved this girl, and she wasn't good enough. My parents didn't approve of her. And then he wanted to go to high school. He would have become like a scholar or athlete. Because whatever he did, he liked to perfect it. He called it art, even in his cooking. His cooking was awesome, We didn't need no restaurant. He's the one that taught my mother how to cook. Because my mom, she grew up as a man working. My mom owned boots and pants and go to work. She didn't know anything about cooking, whatever. And but my dad, he said that's why he started drinking. Of course, you could say excuses are like a dime a dozen. You could say because of whatever, But at that time, the respect their parents was like, it was like a godly respect in whatever they said. He said sometimes he had to get in his knees, and I don't know if his dad or whatever got a rope and hit him. He said I was 7 years old and I had to take care of a cow, and the cow took off. He said I wanted to play marbles, Well, you're little, you want to play, right? And his dad gave him that responsibility, but anyway, I remember growing up, he said, "Men don't cry." I want her to cry, And when Stephen was 3 years old, I want to be a man, I said, I don't even want to be a man. He goes, Grandpa. I say, hey, come on, you're 3 years old. You're boy, enjoy it, you know. And anyway, that was, I guess, I had a low self-esteem because, you know, it was, you know, come to eat, my mom and dad would be arguing, you know how the enemy, that's what we wanted to eat, you know, so, not like some parents, you know, they talk to their children, you know, at the table, you know, how did you do in school, or how was your day, or something. I didn't see that, you know. And when I went to kindergarten, I couldn't speak Spanish that good, and I couldn't speak English, or I was all messed up. And I used to like to play cowboys and Indians, you know. And my idol were Roy Rogers, Dale Evans, Hopalong Cassidy, and Gene Autry, Cisco Kid, and I always wanted to be a cowboy because growing up, you know, you see movies. One good Indian is the dead Indian, you know. So, but anyway, now I love the Indians, you know. But anyway, you know, throughout my school, you know, in school, you know, they never asked me to say a speech. I'm glad, you know, because I probably would have cried right there, you know. And now, because since I came to God, I don't shut up now. So I get a lot of practice, right? My wife said, "Zip it, get out of here," you know. I said, she doesn't go to me with a bag, because she, you know. I have church wherever I go, so I don't miss church. You know, I have to be in church and pray. Get close to God wherever you go, right? Right. One time, police said, "Well, you can't be talking to the ladies. You don't even know who they are." I told them other things, you know. I said, "You know what? You do your job, do mine." You know, because you know I got work to do. Then another time, my wife, she was cleaning the sanctuary for other church, and I was outside, and I was talking to these two ladies. They said they were Christians, but I don't know why. I don't know if it was the flesh, or I felt like Moses. I don't know. I was talking to her. I don't know why. My wife, when I went in, "Baby, the police are gonna come and take you. They probably could hear you over there." I said, "Pray now, Lord, let them take me. I'll be like Silas and Paul and Silas." Shut up, you know. You know, and before I could, you know, I had to be drunk to yell this. I couldn't even yell. You tell me to yell when I was, you know, I could. My dad, drunk or whatever, man, they could hear him. Because a friend of ours that had a bakery out of, what do you call it? Hanford. My dad was a good salesman. He'd buy him a bottle of wine, and he would get cut, and they all gather and make money. Until I guess he told somebody something and got in a fight. Maybe there were more than one, because my dad couldn't hit. They go down, but he had that habit of picking. My mom said one time there was 11 sailors, I guess during the war, whatever, or after. I guess they looked at him the wrong way, and he didn't care how many were. They beat him up, you know. Just like to hear my daddy go to a reservation, and you know, nice dress and leather jacket and everything, and I don't know. And the Indians didn't like him. They used to cut him out. They didn't kill him, but he used to come up cut, you know, like discouraged. Don't come back. And the following week, you'd go over there, get caught drunk driving. The judge would say, "Guilty or not guilty?" "Guilty," you know. And of course, he had money. He was a contractor, one of the first contractors for farm labor. A lot of people don't know that, you know. And at that time, he would drink whiskey. He would have his pint. And of course, after years, he couldn't afford that, so wine. And then after that, he couldn't afford that, so he had to go. Sometimes I would take him to the Frontier, the bar, and get a shot. Cause he was an alcoholic, because if he didn't get that shot, he couldn't function, you know. But that's why I never said I was an alcoholic then. Drunk driving and open containers, speeding, even wrecked I didn't wreck the car, but I messed up the transmission, going about 80 and I put in reverse. You know, that's not too cool, right? And one time I had bald tires in my 69 Impala, and I took this guy, he said, hey, take me to Fresno, and I thought he was gonna look up this guy. He wanted to kill him. God. After he came back, you know, I couldn't find that guy. How come? Well, you know, I'm a hitman. Hitman. I thought you were a farmer. They were working out there with the winos over there. And then he thought we were gonna crash because he was in the passenger seat. He went down like that. After I saw that, I go, someone. I said, wait a minute. Cause I'll see if I could hit 100 because I never hit 100. You know.
With bald tires.
Yeah, with bald tires. You know, like a miracle, right? How the devil say you're gonna have a miracle. You know, nothing's gonna happen. But anyway, that was one. No, I'm not happy. You know, my past, but I want to get to the main thing. You know, yeah. 1979. Oh man, that was the year that. It was like February, like my son, the devil would want to take out my son Patrick when he was about 7, 8 months. He caught a disease. I don't even know up to now if you know what it is. At first they say it was leukemia, then some virus. And, when he was born, and, brought him home, he was healthy. And then he couldn't take the formula. So we tried all kinds of formulas. Finally, we had to get some goat's milk, and then still, after months later, my wife had to go with him to Fresno. I didn't know any, you know, I wasn't born again, so being a Catholic, I don't know, you could say brainwash you or whatever, that's the only church, and that, like, we're the only ones that go to heaven or whatever. But I was going straight to hell. And when you don't know the truth, you'll fall for anything. So we started seeing some witchcraft people. We thought they were healers, you know. Mexicans call them curanderos, you know. So we thought there's good healers and bad healers, right? Some of them belong to God and the other ones. But that guy out of the Rosary told me to burn up my neighbor's house because he was entertaining this one that was a devil. Right? You know, bad guy, good guy. And I said, what? Why did it burn it so? He said, something wrong with that. So I quit going. And my wife and her mother and sister were faithful because my wife wanted to get healed from epileptic seizures. See, when you don't know the truth, you go wherever they tell you, go there, they're getting healed, you know. And she did get healed. But she put it, whatever, in Jesus, not on him. Yeah. After that, I think she had seizures like 3 times, but she had them like 17 years, you know, half her life. It was like a curse, right? That was in their family. And
You don't have them no more.
no.
That's good.
And thank God when I was going out with her, she never had them until I got married, you know. If I would have seen them, when I got married, you know, they look like the devil. You ever seen one? Somebody has that. Oh, you could look at your car, you know. But anyway,
Going to prison.
yeah. Some, you know, they mess up their teeth or whatever, right? But oh, God had her for me, right? Brought her from Texas over there. And I didn't. Okay, I guess I was racist, right? I didn't want nothing with Texas. Why? Because they would come over here. To me, they would like destroy our. That's what I thought. Like they were the enemy. You know? They just come over here and do this. Like they want to take over. So, you know, married a Texan, right? But that's the best thing ever happened to me, you know, really. Even though she was about 4 years older than me. But, anyway, you're drinking, you act like I was King Kong, you know, or like Rambo. Hey, there was times that I got that spirit of I wanted to hang my son and everybody that was connected with him. Got on drugs. I went after I couldn't find him. His girlfriend, I couldn't find him. Wait, I couldn't find that room. Then I went to my brother-in-law. I say, you got a rope? What do you want a rope for? Man, you're crazy. God, listen to me. I'm glad I went to see him, you know. And then another time I wanted to kill, you know, because my brother, I haven't got to that place, you know, miracle. I better jump into that. Miracle of 1979, Robert Jimenez, he received a miracle of hearing. He was a deaf and couldn't talk. So, but up to 5 years old, he was normal, you know. And first language was Spanish. And then after that, he got spinal meningitis. We didn't know. The doctor said he had the flu, he had the virus. Took him, all the doctors from Portugal, and then to Bakersfield. They didn't know. So they brought him back, and there was a doctor here in Portugal. He passed on, Dr. Cox. He diagnosed spinal meningitis, you know. But when that miracle, man, it was like, because he was an alcoholic. He wrecked my brother Bob. I don't know how many cars. He went over the, I don't know, he wrecked a number of cars. And he survived. And he even got hit in his bicycle by some workers from Mexico who threw him. And then after that, anyways, these drug guys that were on drugs, I guess they were looking for blood or something. And because he used to live in the east side, work in Beckman's over here. Ride his bike on the east side, come over here. They tried to run over with a car, and he fell, and then he started running. They went after him. I guess they saw like a pipe over there, and had that. Anyway, it was like bent like that, and they used that on him. And I heard that, this friend of mine, when I was working over here on the trailers on 65 over here, and my friend of mine went and picked me up, and he told me about it. Oh man, I want to get revenge. He took me where he was at the Emergency Sierra View Hospital, and he says, Benny, your brother's over there. They said he has convulsions and everything. He's not gonna make it. And for I don't know how many seconds, hey, I got that ramble. I want to find out where they live too. And then Jesus talked to me. He said, "You're gonna do your way or my way?" I know what my way was, and I knew his way. So right away I said, you know what, I don't want to go see him. Take me to my mother. Well, I want her to pray for me. So after that, I got a peace. Then after that, I went to the trial. There was 2 guys that were involved in that murder, killed or whatever. And anyway, I just went to one trial. They gave him both life without parole, but one got killed. And they said he fell off. No, somebody killed him because this guy I know, he said, Benny, I got the word around, and they liked your brother from the mafia. They want to kill these guys. You know, if I would have said yes, they probably would have killed everybody. So I said, hey, I'm not, you know, no way. But that was how beautiful. God gave him that miracle and he could hear. Oh man, he looked like an angel when from one day to another his face was like, man, heavenly. Oh, that was more than all. Because prior to that, I don't know how many years he got involved with a Jehovah's Witness. Whether to blame them or not, I don't know. But I could blame anybody. Got into drinking heavily, and one time I had to fight him. I don't want to go into that because that's another 3 hours probably. But the thing is that time he wasn't drinking, and everybody got together at my house and said, no, they got to take him to San Francisco to get tested. You know, to me, that day, it was something like from heaven, you know, and like, it didn't touch none of my family, right? But prior to that, like the first day when I heard it, I told my friend, well, I want to tell him that he started hearing because he took some vitamins that I sell, you know, because I wanted to make some money, you know. You know?
Snake oil?
Yeah. Because a movie where we're living over here in Cottage. What is it? Quarter of a mile from here. And a movie star, you know, they wanted to make a movie, and it was God, because they're like, you know, we're getting calls from, they wanted to appear in talk shows. Man, can you imagine? Famous. Man. But they didn't say how much money we're going to get or nothing. They didn't, you know. And how much we're going to give you and everything. But everything went down when my uncle and my brother, they flew to San Francisco. And at that time, my uncle paid for everything. And anyway, they got tested, no hearing. But I think that was all orchestrated by God, you know. Can you imagine if he did hear? He was already feeling like a celebrity, you know. And then, and I thought my brother quit drinking, but because he went to the California School for the Deaf right there in Berkeley. You know where that is, right? Anyway, it's in that campus where the Bears, California School for the Deaf is right there. But he was there since 8 till 18. Then he graduated. I didn't know how smart he was. He's a very intelligent guy. Stamina, man. He was one of these that, you know, when they gave him vacation 2 weeks, he used to go back. He'd go, you know, like gave him signs that I want to work, come back to work, you know. And they put him over there where it was real noisy. I don't know what he was doing, with acid. I don't know what his job was, but a lot of people didn't like it because it was noisy. He couldn't hear, so he liked it, right? And they all loved him, you know. And anyway, I want to get to how Jesus from that time, you know, that get back to the ashes. That represents my Catholic upbringing, you know. Like it was some holy, you know, ashes, you know, ashes to ashes. And then from that day, I told my wife, you know, I want to quit drinking. Yeah. Up to that, you like quit 2-3 days, right? Started again when I had money, and anyway, so that, and then like everything started. That's how God works. On one thing and then another, and then Pat Robertson came on like, and you need Jesus. In my mind was saying Jesus for the white people, you know, coming out of here. And mine's in Mexico. I never been to Mexico. You know? That was like my God over there. I had, you know, Virgen Guadalupe. Now I know that there's no Virgen Guadalupe. There's Virgen Maria, Mary Guadalupe. You know, you check it out. There's all kinds of virgins in South America, right? That they bow to. Anyway, that's another story. But when the real Jesus came in here, like, you know, I didn't know what I was doing when I received the TV, my rabbit ear, black and white. I didn't have that desire that much to watch TV. Like, I was watching on Sundays, 8 hours every Sunday, you know. And my Playboy magazines, and those there were my Bibles. Well, I was better than I even looking good. You know, to me that was art, because I don't know, I won't go into it. But anyway, so it's interesting, really. And then one thing led to another. And then after that, my mom said, Benny, my sister called from San Jose. She was our first holy roller, hallelujah, that we saw. She was crazy, okay? All of us were normal, and she was crazy. So, you probably know that pastor, Kenny Foreman. That you know, huh? You know, he's a big time preacher. He had Faith Temple back then in '79 in San Jose, and I think they moved to Palo Alto. And one of his members was that rapper, what was that, Casey Hammer?
MC Hammer?
Yeah, he was in that. Yeah. Anyway, so my aunt used to rub shoulders with the big boys, you know. And then she's the one that introduced us, me and my uncle, to Morris Cirillo. You know Morris Cirillo, right?
San Diego.
Yeah, he's out of San Diego, right? So we went over there in '79 when I was just in the Lord like 6 months. And then I was gonna raise my hand to get baptized, and my uncle and Louis, Brother Louis, he was still in the Catholic Church, but he was like our mentor. Anyway, he go, well, you know, you go back to Porterville, you're baptized. Like, I guess they weren't ready to get baptized, right? So they weren't telling me something positive about baptism, you know. Because I was ready to jump in if they would have got, I would have got baptized too. But all that teaching for a week, God, you don't want to come back, you know. You go to Denny's, like there, it was like a block down from, they were renting Desi Arnaz. They were his hotel. Morris Rule at that time was renting. You go over there, and most of the people that were there, not all of them, but they were, hey, I got this miracle. I said, what? Yeah, God told me this. And then right away I wanted to witness to somebody right there. He was from France. And I felt like that bulldog, you know, that bulldog, there's a big bulldog and a little bulldog. Anyway, I felt like that little one because that guy was ready to hit me or something. Well, you know. And then Brother Louis stepped in, and it was like like he helped me, like he stepped in right, you know, because so God was using me real quick, you know, like. And anyway, when we were there, it was awesome. You know. And I came back home. First, I didn't want to go because I was going to leave my wife, my kids. I had never left them for a day or whatever. But God was doing one thing after another, you know, prayer meeting, Bible class. And I couldn't get enough. Until my wife said, I said, why is Vanessa crying? She was like 5 years old. Said, oh, you don't take her no place. You don't even take her to the park. Just prayer meetings, revivals, Bible class, prayer meetings. But I couldn't get enough, you know. You know how it is, running through it. Where you had enough time for your family. So I didn't know how to balance, you know.
Yeah, there has to be a balance
See?
in our lives.
Yeah. But now I'm learning, you know. So that was not even I was still a baby, you know. But that was awesome when you're a baby. You lay hands on whatever, something's gonna happen. I lay hands on my plumbing, and God will seal it.
Lay hands on our baptism.
And I prayed for a dog that we were working by the airport in the grapes over there. And there comes a lady going by there like 100 miles an hour. And this dog that they had, it was a German Shepherd. You know, I guess he used to like to chase dogs. And the lady, and pretty soon that dog was like that. And this other guy went over there after we saw him there for 10 minutes. He said, Benny, let's go get him out there and bring him away, okay? And he said, be careful, because he might bite you. So I prayed for him, okay? And then we brought him over there. 5 minutes later, he got up. His eyes were like that, like in shock, right? And then they called him the wonder dog, you know? You know, but you know, it's been a journey, man, really. It's awesome, you know, like, you know, your kids are small and man, you never want them to get big, right? You wish you could put them in a box and keep them there. But they have to. So one thing led to another, and I was always ready. Yes, like Brother Louis, pastor, just whatever. And we were fasting a lot during that first year, and then pretty soon, hey Benny, we gotta go pray for somebody in the middle of orchard over there in Wood Lake or something. She's possessed or something, or over here. We felt like the Ghostbusters, you know how they were going? So that's the way we were. But, so it was always yes, like, you know. And then it got to a point where the church started growing, and I guess that's where the flesh starts coming, right? Brother Louis didn't have time for us no more. Just like we're here together. And then pretty soon, you know, he started looking and said, paying more attention over there. You know. See? So don't get into that, you know. But I did, and then pretty soon, well, I think I'm gonna get out of this church. One day I was a head usher, the following day I was demoted. I was, you know, like, okay. But what I learned from Brother Louis, he said, Benny, when there's a need, fill it. I learned that from him. And then another thing I learned from him, he said, Benny, put these prayers in your family. Who's dying? Let's go pray for him. God will resurrect him and get him healed. And, you know, I like that about him. About my son when he got on drugs or whatever. Hey, Patrick's been out there too long. Let's go get him. I like that. I don't like, well, we'll pray for him. If it's God's will. You know, like, come on. You know. So, let's pray that prayer is going to touch God's heart. And God, Jesus already did it. You know. We go, wow, I've been in church 40 years. And I'm going to go saved. Oh, I know I'm saved. And come on, do something more. A lot of bench warmers. That's what I did, you know, during my career in school. All the bench warmers. Why? Because when the going got tough, I didn't know what persevere was. I didn't know what. So I would take the easy road, right? Then I wonder, why am I not playing? Well, come on. I started getting good when I started getting my teams when I came back from the service, you know. So I'm going to coach my brother. I want to coach and give him an opportunity. I don't care how good they are. Get in there, learn. And a lot of them became all-stars, you know.
So,
That's right.
what do you feel God's doing now?
To me,
No, your family. What has God done?
with my son Patrick.
And how's that take to other men and
And
fathers?
it just-
What are things that we can glean to learn that encourages us?
Yeah.
Or your grandchildren as they're coming
Yeah,
up?
because why? Because they're seeing an example. They have to see an example. I could say like my dad used to say, son, you do what I tell you, not what I did. You don't want to be like me. And come on, show me the example, right? And it's not easy. Okay, I felt like Abraham one time. I want to sacrifice Patrick. You know, I didn't want to kill him, but I want to take him up there to the hill. I wanted to break his legs, really. I tried to break his legs. Because he looked like a stranger. I wanted to knock the HE double out of him and everybody that hang around with him. I don't care if they had knives or what. And anyway, but there was times when had to be God. I'll get in the flesh, and if I see a brat or whatever, and my wife, hey, don't, you know, really? And but it was because of God's grace, guidance, or whatever. I didn't do something stupid, you know, like that time I was going to church. You could go to church, pray and fast and everything, but like I said, you know. So I wonder, that's it? Okay. You know, you have to. You know, the pastors in the past have said, us pastors, we have a lot of keys, you know. I don't like a lot of keys, you know. I just like one, repent. Either do it or don't do it. You know, that's what God wants. He wants soldiers and reporting for duty, sir. It's not for 4 years until you take me home.
Amen.
And do it with all your heart, mind, and soul. And get it from Jesus first. Don't call your friends or doctors. Get first opinion, second opinion. Jesus has one. Go ye and give it all. Amen and amen.